morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on whenever you're watching this. I hope y'all have had an excellent week, and I hope y'all learned something from the lesson. Now, I know it's not the easiest thing to understand. Matter of fact, it took me a little while to understand it as well. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? Let me create some similar problems based on the homework I gave y'all, and I'll go through this myself, and I'll share the results, and hopefully y'all can kind of see what I'm expecting when you turn in your homework. So let me get my screen shared, and here we are. Here it is. For number one, this is about creating a Venn diagram based on the letters that are provided for you in the problem. And basically, the most important thing to realize is to just kind of go through the problems to go through each part. Like if you go through A, B, C, D, E, and F, you will eventually find a way to create a circle with all the terms on it. So, for example, let's start with the union of B and C. That just means all the terms that B and C share together. So, or what they all both have, I'm sorry. So, they all have D, F, G, and H in this set. So, we know D, F, and H are in B, D, G, and H are in C, and they share D and H. So, you fill that in on your Venn diagram, and if you repeat that process for all of these other parts of it, you will eventually lead your way to the right answer. For number two, this is about the Venn diagrams and the shapes. Now, I'll admit this one tricked me up because of the way it's worded. But if you just take a moment and read the problem out as much as you can, you'll see that it's not that bad. So just think about it. C, H, and T, circular, hexagon, and triangular shapes. You remember that, you will manage to get through this problem, and you'll see that it's not that bad. And see, when you look at such as part A, large, the intersection of large and hexagon, it just simply means you're looking for large hexagonal shapes right here, and that's all. Whoop. And that's all I'm really looking for. It's just for you to identify that large hexagons are in this. That's kind of the process you're going to follow along here for the other parts as well. So it's not as numbers based as much as identifying the types of items that are going to be in the sets. For number three, about the various numerals and ways to represent numbers, I understand y'all probably will never care about this, and by the time you get out of public school and in college, this is probably going to be nothing more than just a fun fact in a trivia or game show that you might use one day. But it's still a neat thing to know. So if you look in your textbooks, you'll see it'll tell you what each of these symbols means. And I've noted that here on my worksheet as well. This pointed kind of finger looking like figure is 10,000. The upside down U is 10, and then the stack is 1. So you can find all this in your book, and from there, you're kind of just plugging in all the formulas. It's not that hard to do. You'll figure it out real quickly, and you'll get through it with no problem. For number 4, this is an interesting way to do multiplication. I will be honest about that. It's not something I had ever actually learned about before I started teaching it, but once I found out about it, it's actually pretty neat to go through. See, putting your two multiplicants here on the top and right hand side of the box and just multiplying The appropriate terms, such as 9 times 5 is 45, 6 times 5 is 30, and 4 times 5 is 20. See, that just makes it, okay, you know how to do that. You should all know how to do that. And then just adding, from the bottom right-hand corner up. See, it's not that hard to do. As you can see, when you do the multiplication and you do this simple addition, and sometimes you will have to carry the tens number over with you to the next part of it. So like 8 plus 1 plus 6 is 15, so we put the 5 down here, and then we carry the 1, and then 7 plus 1 is 4, plus 3 is 15, and then plus 1 is 16. So you will have to carry your tens number with you. I did just wanted to let y'all know that, but once you understand it, it's actually not that hard to do. As a matter of fact, it's neat, and I might start using it more in the future. For number 5, this one deals with rounding to the leftmost digit and comparing it just to straight up performing the operation. And the goal here is just not to worry about the answer too much. The goal is to see the difference between a result you get when rounding and what a result you might get when you don't round. Because there will be times in higher level math where you'll have to sometimes round to different answers, and sometimes they'll want exact answers, and kind of want y'all to start getting familiar with that, because if you don't pay attention to it, it will catch you off guard, and it may cost you some valuable points. That could cost you a good grade later on down the line. So, main point of that is to just keep an eye out on rounding. And finally, relative base. I think this is the hardest part of this whole section, because I'll be honest with you, I've never worked with operations under different bases in a long time. I can't even remember them before I got to this unit. But the best way for me, what I did, is just to simply convert these base units to base 10, which is the standard number system that we're familiar with. Once you do that, just add or subtract them. You'll get a normal base 10 number. Then just convert it to whatever base you're working with. In this case, it's going to be 5 most of the time. But it can also work with all the other bases. So if you just remember to convert from whatever base you're working at to the standard base 10, this series of problems will not be frightening. It'll all work out, and you'll make it. So with that being said, those are the problems that you'll be facing this week. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact me, and I'll be glad to answer whatever questions you have. Other than that, have a good time, and I'll see you back in class real soon. Thank you so much.